আকাশবাণী গুৱাহাটী অনুষ্ঠান শুনি আছে মহাবাহু শাখাৰ পৰা চলন্তিকা।
নমস্কাৰ শ্ৰোতাসকল, আজিৰ চলন্তিকালৈ আপোনালোকক স্বাগতম। আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত শুনক ৰাজ্যৰ গৃহ বিভাগৰ যুটীয়া সচিব তথা লেখক মধুসূদন নাথৰ সৈতে হোৱা সাক্ষাৎ গ্ৰহণ কৰিছে মানস প্ৰতিম শৰ্মাই।
সমস্যটাকে আকাশবাণীৰ চলন্তিকা অনুষ্ঠানলৈ আদৰণি জনালোঁ। আমি আজি অসমৰ ইংৰাজী সাহিত্যৰ বিষয়ে কথা পাতিম আৰু আমাৰ সৈতে আছে অসমৰ ইংৰাজী সাহিত্যৰ সাহিত্যিক লেখক আৰু লগতে ব্যুৰ'ক্ৰেট জ্যেষ্ঠ চৰকাৰী বিষয়া শ্ৰীযুত মধুসূদন নাথ। Mr. Nath, welcome to our Salantika program.
Thank you.
Let's start. Your recent book, Chronicles of a Civil Servant, has already hit the market and it's day by day it's becoming popular. So please tell us about your journey so far through this book as a writer, along with being a bureaucrat, and how do you get time? How this curiosity of becoming a writer has been started?
Yes, actually time is not an issue according to me, but I did not write the book to be a writer. In fact, I had an interest in writing, and day to day I wanted to write something actually. So when I was in the field, so I had lots of experiences, and during my field postings when I used to come to Guwahati, normally I took the journeys during the night time. So when I started for Guwahati, then I just began to write, and I used to write in the mobile only, in the Facebook. Actually, it was 2 or 3 hours journey, so every week I used to come. So when I boarded vehicle, then I started writing, and the time I reached Guwahati, then almost one episode was complete. So that way I started writing in 2018 actually, but time sometimes is also an issue, though I said it's not an issue, and it took about 4 years to complete the book. And when I wrote about 70 numbers of episodes, then usually my friends, my well-wishers, they started talking to me that you publish it in the book. I also wanted. So that way I thought I was looking for a publisher. Then Nobin Barua, he is a renowned publisher. So I talked to him, somehow I got his number, he agreed, and finally the book has come.
What is the response so far?
Response is good. Actually, I did not expect so much of a response. Initially, I thought I was in a dilemma actually, whether it will be accepted by readers or not. But it was a challenge actually for me, and I took the challenge, and finally, when the book came out, then even today, when before I started for the studio, then one of my friends, he sent a person and asked for 3 numbers of books. So response is good, and I am inspired actually.
Right. You have, as you mentioned, there are 70 episodes.
Yeah.
Precisely 70 articles that have been narrated by you. Your journey so far, wherever you have been posted as a bureaucrat, you have narrated precisely. And one of the salient features of the book is that I have so far completed around 70% of this book. There, your sentence construction, your writing skill is like that. Anyone who has a bit of interest in reading book, you can reach out to them. So how did you manage this skill?
Actually, I am a simple person, so I think my simplicity
reflected in that. Good one.
So what I think that I am writing for whom? I am writing for the readers. So if my writing becomes obscure, if they do not understand it, if they cannot make out of what I am writing, then it's useless. So what I am writing for the readers, and the readers, they must understand. So normally I write simple, and I think this is the reason that the book has been accepted, due to the simplicity in style, in writing, in language. And one thing, language and literature are 2 different things, but what I feel, if the person writing a book has some degree of command over language and literature, then I think the work gets its protection.
Right. And if we talk on English literature, specifically if we remain in terms of our own state, Assam, so how do you see the richness of our literature in English field? Is it that, do you think that we have sufficient numbers of writers in Assam who writes in English mostly?
I don't know, writers are few, but readers are more. Today, most of my readers, they have read the book because it has been written in English. But still I think that these readers will turn into writers one day.
Right.
And you might be knowing one of my senior bureaucrats, Dhruva Hazaika sir.
Yes.
He has written a number of books, good books in English. Mitra Pukun is there. So many other writers I have not read. Most of them, some of them only have read, but Swapnil Bura sir is there. So future is good, I think. Future is bright.
And if you wish to share one or two, episodes from this book with our listeners, there are quite a few interesting stories that have been mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of interesting stories only. Number one, the day I joined as circle officer, SDC,
That time.
people, not that time circle officer, but people used to call SDC.
SDC.
So I was circle officer attached. When I entered my chamber, then I did not find anything of literature, English literature. I was a student of English literature. I wanted to actually, after post-graduation, I wanted to do some more serious work on literature. But when I entered my chamber, I found some petitions came seeking income certificates, Jamabandi copies. Then I was not that expert also.
Mostly revenue related.
So actually I wanted to come back to teaching. I taught at Puthimari College for a few days. Before that I was in the Sentinel as a sub-editor. So I told my senior that I want to go back. I want to teach literature. That way then he told me, you will get literature here. You will get, you try to get involved, you don't take it as a job. So that's why I started. Then one interesting thing story I'm telling you, that I was circle officer Dudhnoi, then I had applied for earn leave for 2 months I think. So the sanctioning authority was Commissioner LAD, Lower Assam Division. His office still is just opposite Cotton College. So I went there. So at the time, during our time actually, his designation was SA to Commissioner, Special Assistant to Commissioner. And his rank, when we joined, was ESC's rank. So we were in the field, we did not know that the post was, the ESC's post, the SS post was upgraded. So it was actually an ADC sitting in the chair. So the signboard, it was SA to Commissioner only. So I did not know also that it was upgraded at that time. So I entered his chamber. Actually it should have been SO, his special officer to Commissioner, but the signboard remained the same. So I was put in a dilemma whether the officer sitting before me was senior to me
Or your batchmate or junior to you?
or my batchmate or my junior. So whether I should address him as sir or not. So it took a lot of time. Then he wanted to make me understand that he was senior to me. He offered me tea. He wanted to talk to me in this way or that way. I also did not address him as sir, but I was polite to him. I was very much polite because I was also in a dilemma. But sometimes I thought he might be even junior to me also. So that happened, and finally he asked me, who are the ADCs there in Goa? Then when I told the names of the ADCs, then he said, they are all my batchmates in service. So you just imagine what might be my condition. So I tried to compensate what I did not do actually. I wrote in the book, if I would have been happy if I could have addressed him with a lot of SARS because that was a deficiency. And number two, one more piece of in brief I'm telling you, when I was SGO Sodor, then I was SGO Sodor Udalguri, and I was then transferred as SGO Civil Koliapur. On the day of my farewell in the conference hall of DC office, so one of my juniors, he was ESC, so he told me, sir, I congratulate you, we are going to Koliapur, but the circuit house there is very dangerous, there is haunted.
Haunted. You have mentioned that.
So you never stay there. Then I told him that where shall I stay? Because I'll have to stay there for about 1 week or 2 weeks till my quarter gets ready. I said, no sir, you should not be there because there is dangerous. You'll be in trouble. But I went there, I stayed with my family for about 15 days. So nothing of that sort happened. So these are the episodes actually I wrote. They are based on facts.
Right. And do you have any plan to get it translated in Assamese or any other Indian languages?
I am planning, right now I am planning. And actually some of my friends and well-wishers, they are telling me to translate it, to get it translated into Assamese. So I can also translate, but I think if it gets translated by some other person, then I think the person also will get exposure and I'll also get time for some other work. I am thinking to get it translated into Bodo also. So one of my juniors at Cotton College, Kompu Basumatari, so he's now an officer in the railways, so he is interested. He came to me one day and collected a copy and he said he will do that. So this is a plan for the timing.
And your any future plan specifically in the field of writing that you would like to go through or like to achieve?
Future plan, yes, I have one plan. I am writing one book on Cotton College, not on Cotton College, about my experiences as a Cottonian. So I stayed at Cotton College, I studied there for 5 years, so I stayed in the hostel for 5 long years. So my stay at Cotton College is full of experiences. I stayed in 2 hostels. So I'm writing one book on my experiences about Cotton College and it is almost completed. So I'll now ask my publisher if he agrees, then I think before the book fair
we can read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Time is almost over and thank you Mr. Nas again for giving us and share your experiences both as a writer and also a bureaucrat. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
চলন্তিকা শুনিলে আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত ৰাজ্যৰ গৃহ বিভাগৰ যুটীয়া সচিব তথা লেখক মধুসূদন নাথৰ সৈতে হোৱা সাক্ষাৎকাৰটি শুনিলে। সাক্ষাৎ গ্ৰহণ আৰু প্ৰযোজনা কৰিলে মানৱ প্ৰতিম শৰ্মাই, সহযোগিতা আগবঢ়ালে অপূৰ্ব মালিয়ে। পৰৱৰ্তী চলন্তিকা শুনিবলৈ পাব অহা সপ্তাহৰ আজিৰ এই একে সময়তে। নমস্কাৰ।